This video is brought to you by
Cool Grain Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. Come on down, shop with us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you can't come and shop with us in person, go online right now at coolgrainclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. Gangs. For most young men and women, depending on what part of the world you live in, they are either familiar with gangs, have organizations around their way, or know somebody that's a member. When you are young and impressionable, gangs may seem like something cool and slick. You see the colors, whether a red flag for blood, blue for Crip, black for GD, I could go on and on. The brotherhood or sisterhood, and for a young person that's struggling to find where they fit at in this world, that might seem like the move. Whether you come from a home that's lacking love and guidance, tired of feeling like a loner and are looking for that sense of community, or you come from a good family and just want to be down. For whatever reasons, every day someone decides to join a gang or come home, as some like to say. But now remember, what a lot of people don't understand is bigger than knowing the history or knowledge, throwing signs, or cooling with the gang, wearing colors. It's politics, rules, higher ups, and things you have to do to either work your way up the ranks or even just to stay in good standards. Some members have to pay dues, go on missions to show you are really on what you say you are on. Once these tests come, that's when a lot of people think to themselves, what did I sign up for? I might gotta take a life for the gang and possibly do 30 years if I get caught, or give my money to the big guys. Now I'm broke. But it's not that easy to just say, yo, I made a bad mistake. I'm not built for this. Because the same gang you was hunting and eating with could turn on you, and you could be next up on the menu. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be taking it all the way back to 2008 to discuss the case of a man who was backdoored by his own gang for not following the order. Back in 2008, 20-year-old Petro Taylor was a young man navigating life in Baltimore. At the time, he was living out Woodlawn, Baltimore County. But Petro wasn't your typical 20-year-old. No stranger to the police with serious charges like attempted hit and gun possession. Also, Petro was a member of a notorious gang, the Bounty Hunters, a fraction of the Bloods. Petro knew what came with being a member, knowing jail politics and street politics, rubbing shoulders with some of the OGs from the set from time to time. Around about December of that year, he received a call from one of the members telling him like, yo, you gotta go put some money on one of the big homies' books, as one of their big guys was locked up in Baltimore County Detention Center out Towson. The amount was $90. Petro stated like, yeah, all right, I got it. But life in the streets moves fast, and he continued with his everyday routine and either spent the money or just didn't send it at all. A few days would go by, and members of the gang didn't say nothing to Petro, but had their own feelings about him not complying to a direct order given by the higher ups. Some members decided on December 28th, 2008 to give Petro a call. They stated like, yo, we got some females, we gonna all meet up, chop it up at the Red Carpet Inn in Northwest Baltimore. He stated, all right, bet, not knowing the meetup was about him not sending the money. In attendance were 4 females, including at the time 17-year-old Gretchen Rogers, 19-year-old Tanisha Lawson, 20-year-old Sierra Plows, and also another teenage young lady. Also 4 men, including the oldest, 24-year-old Anthony Williams, 18-year-old Devin Melton, 20-year-old Lawrence Walker, and 18-year-old Dominique Boone. As they discussed their plan to violate Petro, he showed up to the room. After a brief conversation about the commissary money, he quickly realized he was called to be disciplined. As everybody started putting hands and feet on the young man, Petro passed out, and they all thought he was gone. The gang decided they would wrap him up in a blanket from the room, then just transport him out in a car. The plan was to take Petro's body to the infamous Lincoln Park in Baltimore. The park was very well known for bodies being dumped there. When the gang pulled up, they heard something though, coming from the trunk. Petro was still alive and moving. They then opened the trunk and one of them proceeded to stab the man over 30 times. Then they pulled him out and set a fire before leaving him. A few days would go by. Then on December 30th, a utility worker who was working in the area discovered what he thought was a person laying in the grass. He called police, who responded to the scene and quickly realized they had a homicide on their hands, and the victim was Petro. He was wrapped up in a blanket with foam cords all around him. One officer recognized the name of the motel wrote on the blanket, the Red Carpet Inn. They went to speak to a housekeeper who stated they were missing a blanket, pointed to the room and claimed just a few days prior there was a lot of young people in the room throwing what they described as a party. Police got surveillance video that showed everybody leaving the room, even walking out with Petro wrapped up in a blanket. Hours later, police got the name of one of the suspects, Tanisha. She was picked up and taken in for questioning, and within a few minutes, the young lady started talking. She didn't hesitate to say exactly what happened to Petro and the names of the other gang members. They all were picked up and questioned for their roles in the slam. Everyone stated they did participate, but they was just doing what they was told. They claimed it was supposed to be a warning, a simple violation for not sending the money, but it quickly got out of hand. Most of them pointed to the oldest, Anthony, as the mastermind, and some of the members involved were teens at the time, with the youngest being 16. Everyone was taken into custody, charged with first-degree hit and other charges. But before trial, a bunch of the members decided to turn state and testify, as Anthony, since he was the oldest, was being pointed to as the person who told everybody else what to do and how to do it. 3 of the men involved received light sentences for their cooperation. 10 years, all suspended but 3 to serve in prison, and all the women the same. Anthony fought to the end before taking an Alford plea and receiving a life sentence, were all suspended for 30 years. Most people felt like the case wasn't being taken seriously and more time wasn't given because Petro was a known gang member. But either way, rest in peace to Petro. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. Nobody deserves to go out like that, especially over $90. I'm sure he thought his gang had a lot of love for him and wouldn't do nothing to him over a few dollars. He took a picture days before the situation, and I know for a fact he didn't see that coming, or he wouldn't have even went to the room that night. It's a cold world with different rules and that lifestyle. Me being familiar with the politics, I'm sure if they didn't violate Petro, all of them probably would have faced violations. It's always the man above the person you think is the man, which usually ends with the blind leading the blind, with everybody trying to fight for position, thinking they all standing for something that's righteous, just to end up crashing out, taking one of their own, then telling on each other when things get real. But I'm gonna leave this one open for discussion. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on the situation in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace to that young man. I definitely send my prayers to his family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. That's another episode of the Baltimore Way. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.